Mangalam Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shriramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyaham Namah Kodanda Hastaya Sandhi Kritasharaya Cha Khanditakhila Daityaya Ramaya Apan Nivarane Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Bande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrinvan Rama Kathanadam Konayati Padangatim Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Krita Mastakanjalim Bashpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Veda Vedye Parepumsi Jate Dasharathatmaje Veda Prachedasad Asit Sakshad Ramayanatmana. Namaskaram to all devotees who have gathered here. It's indeed our fortune that we have a very relevant topic for today's discussion. The topic itself is the relevance of Sri Ramayana in today's life, in current circumstances. Sri Ramayana is an ancient scripture. As the Vedas are ancient, traditional in their nature, Sri Ramayana is also too ancient. If I tell you the age of Ramayana, many around here may not believe it. But still, that is the truth. This Kali Yuga spans through 432,000 years. We have spent only 5,114 in that. We are left with another 427,000 years. The Yuga before Kali Yuga, as you all know, was Dwapara Yuga, which had 864,000 years. And the Yuga even before to Dwapara Yuga was Treta Yuga, which had thrice that of this Kali Yuga. So the age of Sri Ramayana can almost be put at 1,500,000 years. Whether we believe it or not, that has been well established by research and publications. A text which is so old, although we may call it in good term as ancient, still it is old. If it's too old, will it suit the changed circumstances today? Science and technology has advanced a lot. We are no more the same as we used to be. I am not like my father or my mother. They lived a different life. And I am too modern a life. Then how is Ramayana relevant? Is Ramayana not full of draconian, old laws, which are too rigid to be followed? We have changed. Why not change Ramayana? Can we change that version? Can it be a new updation? We have not done that yet. I don't think no one is powerful enough to do that, or anyone has the courage to do that. There is a reason behind. Ramayana deals with those aspects of life which never change although technology changes. When science changes, when the gadgets which we use, when they all change, there are certain things which never change. We see through our eyes, that has not changed. We listen through our ears, that has remained the same. We taste with our tongue, that has remained the same. When these things have never changed, if any text that deals or talks about these fundamentals of life, that too need not change. Science changes daily. All doctors have to update themselves with new publications. Lawyers have to go through the new enactments. But as a Vidwan, as a traditional scholar, as a Sanskrit Veda Vidwan, I need not update at all. I remain the same. Whatever we learnt at the age of 7 and concluded at the age of 18, that's it. We did not learn anything more. Study ends there. But still, that study forms only 25% of your total understanding. Our Acharya, when we go through Gurukula Vasa, he teaches us only 25% of all that we need to know. Then, when time passes, experience teaches us the second quarter. Our co-workers, our co-students, they teach us the third quarter. Then it is only the passage of time, age and experience which teaches us the fourth quarter. First we learn through our Acharya, then through the co-students, then through our experience, through our age, then through the learnings we go study with many Acharyas, we listen to scholars, we listen to noble people, they all teach us the last fourth. So that continues. But that doesn't matter that whatever you learnt in the first quarter would change. That never happens. It remains the same. The reason is, be it Gita or Ramayana or Mahabharata or Alvar's Pasurams, they all deal with the fundamentals of life which can never change. As I told you, we don't see through our ears, we don't listen through our eyes. So, Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or Mahabharatam, they stand good for any thousands of years. Ramayana is relevant even today. Mahabharata is relevant even today. The first point was whether it is relevant. Yes, it is, because it deals with those subjects which never change. It deals with the fundamentals of life. Secondly, Rama is God. I am not God. I am a human being. Can the experiences and conduct of God, who is omnipresent and omniscient, fit me? I cannot. I am a human being. When Rama was God, he knows everything. He knew that Sita would be abducted, and he very well knew that he would get her back. When he knew everything, he can act so. If I am an actor, I know the end of the drama. I can act well. But I am not an actor. I am in real life. I do not know what would happen to me tomorrow. I don't know what would happen, what's my lifetime. I know nothing about myself. If I knew my future, then I can also be Rama. I do not know my future. Then how can I learn, study Rama and just follow Rama? I cannot. He was God. This is another important doubt in our mind. He was God, but he never conducted himself as God. I will quote one incident from Sri Ramayana. You will easily understand why our Purvacharyas have taken the pain to prove that Rama conducted himself as a human being. Whatever extra human activities, whatever things he has done which is beyond human approach or human power, that also was human. So the story would prove that. There was one king during the days of Nambillai. I am talking about 750 or rather 800 years ago. In Shiva Vaishnava lineage, one Acharya was called Nambillai, who had commented gloriously on Nammalvar's 1102 Pasurams, Thiruvaimozhi. That commentary is acclaimed as Nambillai Edu, Edu Muppattarairappadi. During his days, he had lot of disciples. There was one disciple who was not fond of him, who never attended his lectures. There was another who was too regular to his discourses. Both of them together went to a king. King was talking to them about Sri Ramayana. King had a doubt in his mind. I accept Rama was a human being. You Upanyasakas also tell that Rama was a human being. But now clarify my doubt. As a human being, how did Rama grant salvation? How did Rama grant moksham to Jatayu? He should not have. Only God could have granted moksha, whereas Rama granted. So I feel Rama did not act his part well. He has overacted. He should not have granted moksham to Jatayu. How did he? If you accept that yes, he was right in granting, then accept that he behaved as God. If you say he behaved as God, then I won't believe in him anymore. Ramayana is no more relevant to me. It's relevant if Rama behaved as a human being. It is not relevant if he behaved as God. I can't follow God. I am not God. So I will stop reading Ramayana. I may accept Lakshmana, Shatrughna, Hanuman, Sita as they were all humans and they behaved as humans. Whereas Rama did not. Since he overstepped, can we say that I cannot follow Rama? This was the doubt in the mind of that king. King questioned. The person who was not regular to the discourse of Nambillai did not know the answer. So he requested the other. Now I am in a catch-22 situation. Can you help me? This king has put a question to me. I have to reply. Did Rama behave as a god or as a human being? How did he grant moksham to Jatayu? The disciple who was regular, he immediately replied, I have listened to Nambillai. He had already clarified this to me. He used to quote, Satyena lokan jayati, Deenan danena raghavaha, Gurun shushrushaya, Yudhi shatravan. This is a shloka from Sri Ramayana. Rama wins over the heart of every individual differently. He never used the same technique to win over everyone. Satyena lokan jayati, Deenan danena raghavaha. If you are destitute, by extending, sharing his wealth, Rama wins him. Deenan danena. If you share your wealth, give danam, of course the destitute, the poor will be in your side. Deenan danena raghavaha. Gurun chishrushaya. You can't go and offer something to your guru. You can't say that, oh Guru, let me give you some dhanam. He has already given vidya dhanam to you. You cannot reciprocate with any other dhanam. So to Guru, you have to serve, serve and serve. Gurun shushrushaya. Shushrushaya is service. Now make your Guru feel very happy that he taught you. Gurun shushrushaya. Yudhi shatravan. You can't go to Ravana and tell him, let me win over you by serving you. Can you? You cannot. So Rama showed his valor, his might in winning over Ravana. Gurun Shishrushaya, Yudhi Shatravan, Dhanusha Yudhi Shatravan, Deenan Danena Raghavaha. Lastly, Satyena Lokan Jayati. By his truth, Rama was triumphant. Rama was so true, Satyena Lokan Jayati, that he possessed all the lokas. He won over every loka. Lokan is plural. Loka, singular. Lokan Jayati. Rama wins over all lokas. When Ramayana has used this word Lokan, the meaning is not only this material world, but also the transcendental Vaikuntha. If you are an embodiment of truth, then Vaikuntha and this material world both belong to you. Both are your properties. So Rama, by just sheer truth, by being embodiment of truth, has won over both worlds. When he won over Vaikuntha, then it is his belonging. Even as a human being, you have the right now to grant it to anybody you want. So Rama won Vaikuntha by his truth. It was his belonging. He granted his belonging to Jatayu. Not as God, but as a human being. So even as a human being, you can win over Vaikuntha. Now I quoted this incident not to prove that Rama is a grantor of Vaikuntha. That is not our issue now. Our issue is, did Rama behave as God or restrict himself to be a human being? Rama restricted to be a human being. When you establish that, then you are sure that Ramayana is relevant to us as human beings. Since Rama behaved only as a human being, why not we follow Rama? In fact, there was one place. When Rama entered Aranya, the big Aranya, he first visited Sharabhanga Ashrama. When Rama was in meeting with Sharabhanga, Devendra was already inside. Rama wanted to get into Sharabhanga Ashrama. He told Lakshmana, Lakshmana, let us wait for a while. I think Devendra is inside. I see his footwear here. I see his white elephant Airavata outside. So he must be inside. As human beings, let us not meet the Devas. This is not our job. Let's wait. Let Devendra get out of the ashram. We will enter then. Rama waited. Devendra came out of the ashram. Look of it, he understood that Rama was somewhere around. Of course, we can smell people. We can easily know who is around us. And will Rama be not smelt by Indra? Rama was such a personality that his presence will easily send vibrations. It sent. Indra knew. But he told his chieftains that, let us not meet Rama. Rama here is a human being. He never wants to meet any devas. He will not trespass. He doesn't like overstepping. So Indra did not meet Rama. He went out. I am specifically telling you this because the case is totally different with Sri Krishna. To Krishna, all the devas descended to do service. Right from the day he was born, when he was carried in a basket across river Yamuna, Adisesha came down to help him. And he was an umbrella so that Krishna was not affected by rain. So he protected Krishna. Venatai Siruvan. I'll just quote one portion from Nachiyar Tirumozhi of Andal. Melapparappan Venada Siruvan. Melappingil Varuvanai Virundavanatte Kandome. Veil Kappan Venada Siruvan. It was too hot summer in Vrindavana. Krishna had to go as a cowherd boy. Who will hold an umbrella for him? Yashoda never gave one. Kodayum Sheruppum Kodade Tamodharanai is the song of Periyalvar. Yashoda never gave an umbrella or a footwear to Krishna. Every day she sent him alone. Krishna went to that heat summer. He could not find any shelter there. After sending away Krishna, Yashoda used to lament. Why did I send Krishna without an umbrella or footwear? I don't know how much is he suffering. Her friends used to tell her, you do the same lament every day, Yashoda. Why not you give an umbrella next day at least? I may give one, but every day he loses. I can't give one new, every day new. So Yashoda did not give, but Krishna had no trouble at all. It was Venadai Siruvan, Venata Sutta Garuda, who flew above Krishna, spreading his wings above Krishna, and that was the umbrella for him. So I just quoted that to Sri Krishna, Devatas have descended to serve. But Rama ensured that he did not meet any Deva, as he wanted to conduct only as a human being and did not overstep at all. Now I have given you two reasons why Sri Ramayana is relevant even today. It's relevant because it deals on the fundamentals of life. So it need not change. It is relevant because these are the conducts of a human being, not of God. Of course, Rama was God. I don't deny that. But still, Rama did not want to act as God. He has only conducted as a human being. We can very well follow all that Rama did. We can follow all that Krishna said. We can follow all that Rama did. Don't change. You can't interchange. If you want to do all that Krishna did, it's too difficult and confusing in life. Let's not do that. He may lie. I cannot afford to lie. He can marry 16,108 girls. I cannot, of course. He can steal. I cannot. So just go by the Upadesha, by the preachings of Krishna. Even that little difficulty is not in Rama. You have no confusion in following the life of Rama. He has been straightforward always. The third point is Rama or Ramayana not too rigid? We are all too flexible today. It's too rigid. Do you use the same adupu as your parents were using? I don't think so. Do you use well water as our grandparents were doing? Not at all. Do we sit only on the floor to eat? No. Still only the Upanyasaka squats. All others sit in a chair. That has changed now. It is only the Upanyasaka who squats even today. All the listeners sit in a chair. If I just tell you now, can we remove all these chairs and squat on the floor? Half the people cannot. They would prefer to stand and listen. Swami, mutti valikirudhu, mudugu valikirudhu, we cannot. So we deny. When we have changed so many, then why not change? Can we transform Sri Ramayana and make it suit today's life? what would happen? If it has to suit today's life, then Rama would have to compromise on his virtues. Lakshmana would have to say, how long can I keep serving Rama? I have to look after myself. Bharata would say, after all, let me rule this kingdom for 14 years. My mother has got it for me. Why not? So do you want all these flexibilities to step in? It cannot. If you want to, then this cannot enjoy the status of an itihasa. It is an itihasa and well acclaimed because it's rigid. Don't think rigidity is wrong. Adamancy is wrong. Rigidity is never wrong. You can afford to be rigid. You can be firm, but be polite when you are firm. Is it wrong in being firm? I can be firm in my principles, if at all they are right. If I hold a wrong principle, I am firm in it, then I am wrong myself. I can be firm, but be polite. You can be reassuring, but very much be humble. Humility does not mean helplessness. Being firm does not mean you are adamant. You can be polite and yet be firm. You can be humble and yet be firm. So this is a great blend. This is a great mixture of an apparent contradicting quality. Apparently contradicting. They are not in reality, they don't contradict at all. You can be polite, you can be rigid, you can be firm, you can be humble. Rama was an example, a walking example of all these qualities. So don't think that he was rigid or Ramayana is totally rigid. Forget certain aspects of Ramayana which may not suit today. For example, they lived for 60,000 years. Dasharatha lived for 60,000 years. He went without a child for 60,000. Rama lived for 11,000. Dilipa lived for 40,000. Swami, since you said Ramayana is too relevant even today, can I be blessed with another 10,000 years? I am not talking about that. There are many, many things. See, even these are not fundamentals of life. You can live for 10, 20, 30, 50, 70. Is that not flexible even in our life now? So since that is not fixed, the portion that deals with that subject can be ignored in Ramayana. Let's not worry much. But as I told you, seeing through eyes and listening through ears have not changed. Similar portions in Ramayana did not change. Rama was a 8-footer. He was 96 inches tall. Can we ask, Swami, can we also be 96 inches tall? He said Shannavati. Shannavati is 96. 96 inch உயரமா இருந்தாரா ராமர். நாங்கெல்லாம் we are only 5 and a half, 6.25. Can we be blessed as Rama? Be blessed by the qualities of Rama, not by the height of Rama. Let him be. So there are many portions which may not be relevant. Let's not worry because they are all dealing about the changing portions. That's not our concern now. Our concern is what does Ramayana teach us that's relevant even today. Does it talk about rigidity? Yes. It wants every one of us to be rigid in our virtues, to be rigid in being righteous, to be rigid in being upright, to be rigid in being careful of Dharma Shastra. This is very important. Kindly underline. Rama Achara Prabhavo Dharmaha, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha, Sadhu Satya Parakramaha. Rama was an example of Dharma, virtue. What? If you learn all the 24,000 verses of Sri Ramayana, what is the essence of Ramayana? Ramavat Vartitavyam, Natu Ravanavat. Live the life of Rama. Follow Rama, not that of Ravana. This is a simple message. Ramana pola valanam, Ravanana pola valade. Follow Rama, not Ravana. So you must be righteous. You must be full of virtues. Be kind to all. Be sharing. Be helpful. Be upright. Honest. Is it wrong to talk about that today? It's not at all. In fact, many governments, they have now started about corporate governance. They say that things have to be transparent. You can't do your own life. You must be helpful to others. Every company has a social responsibility now. All these are in the talk today. But everything finds a place in Sri Ramayana millions of years ago. I'll tell you how all these find a place. Not that I'm trying to relate whatever happens today to Ramayana, what happened yesterday. I am only telling you, whatever happened in Ramayana can be followed even today. I am not going to pick some instances in today's life and say, this is what Ramayana has. I am not an advocate to argue on behalf of Ramayana. It has its own virtues. It needs no agents. I am not an agent even. So Ramayana is so great. It is relevant every day. We have to draw inspiration from Ramayana. We have to draw instances, apply that to our present day life and be happy. We want to be peaceful, be happy, enjoy pleasure, enjoy bliss. There are many things in store in Sri Ramayana. So don't think it is rigid. You should be rigid when it comes to fundamentals, dharma. If someone tells me, this is truth, talk the truth. Can I say that talking truth is too rigid in today's world? So let me be flexible. Let me compromise. I cannot. I have to be. Even if you invite trouble talking the truth, you must stand by that. There is one shloka which precisely says the message of Ramayana. It says, Yanti nyaya pravrittasya tiryanchopi sahayatam apanthanantu gacchantam sodaropi vimunchati. If you tread in the righteous path, yanti nyaya pravrittasya tiryanchopi sahayatam, even monkeys will help you. If you go the wrong path, your own brother will abandon you. Yanti nyaya pravrittasya tiryanchopi sahayatam, that talks about Rama. Even monkeys helped Rama. Apanthanantu gacchantam, Ravana walked the wrong path, sodaropi vimunchati. His own Vibhishana brother abandoned him. So which one do you choose? Nyaya Margam, we have to walk the righteous path. So don't think that Ramayana is rigid. We have to be rigid, firm, but yet polite. I will quote some instances from Ramayana which are too relevant in today's life. We can't take too much time even. We have a restricted time. We have to conclude at 8:30 and I need to give you at least some time for you to ask your doubts, to come up with your questions so that you are clear when you go out of this hall. When you came, you can afford to have doubts. When you go out, if you still have doubts, then the problem is shifted to me. So instead, you can ask your questions, I would give a reply. Yanti nyaya pravrittasya tiryanchopi sahayatam apanthamancha gacchantam sodaropi vimunchati. So this concludes that we must all be righteous, know what dharma is. In today's world, we need to know two dharmas. One, a samanya dharma and another, a vishesha dharma. Samanya dharma is common dharmas, common virtues. Vishesha dharma is special virtues. I'll tell you an example. Samanya dharma says that, this is very vital, we will be thronged by this problem in everyday life. Samanya dharma is talking the truth. Yes, I can. But when a person came chasing a cow, there was one rishi. The cow entered the ashramam of that rishi. Cow hid itself inside. The chaser came. He asked the rishi, did the cow enter your ashram? Rishi has to say, yes, it's well inside my ashram. If he says, the person will go inside and kill the cow. Instead, the rishi chose to lie. He said, there is no cow inside my ashram. Now, is it dharma or adharma? Apparently it's adharma because he has told a lie. But still it is dharma. You know why? If the rishi says that yes, the cow is in my ashram, then the very next minute the cow won't be in his ashram. Will it not be killed? It would be killed. So the rishi would have lied even then. Rishi would have told the cow is in my ashram, it won't live, it can't survive, it will be killed. So the rishi thought, when I say that it is, then it should be permanent. It should lead a peaceful life. So let me say that the cow is not in my ashram. Then in effect, the person will go away, cow will survive, rishi would have protected the cow, and in reality the cow would be in his ashram. So he chose the second way. He said, no, there is no cow in my ashram. Now tell me, is it the samanya dharma or the vishesha dharma? The samanya dharma is talking truth. Vishesha dharma is protecting a prani. protecting an animal. Which is more important? Protecting a cow is very much important. So the Rishi chose.